Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the live stream of Buster Recap. I'm Solar Gray. That's right. I like the music so hard, it just keeps going. It just keeps on going. But I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I'm here today with...
Hey, everybody. It's Licensed Hench. How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing, man? And boy, let me tell you guys, this is the second consecutive day that we're live streaming, and... sorry to tell you guys this, but we are probably going to be here at least 4 days a week. But today, for those of you guys that don't know who we are or what we do, I am the Cinematic Sorcerer here with Henchman 1, and I call him Henchman 1. He's just licensed to Hench, but I call him Henchman 1 because he is my number one guy. And, yeah, that's right. I know you don't look like Jack Palance or anything like that, but you... are my number one guy. So yeah, and this is our show every week that we talk about the stuff that we've been watching on TV. Now, to give you guys a little bit of background, I'm a middle-aged wizard. He is a middle-aged, I call him a wizard, but he just sticks to henchmen, so I guess that's part of his magic, right? But that means we have day jobs, we have family, we have so much stuff that we got to do on a daily basis. And yesterday I didn't have the mic on, so if you're wondering, that's what I'm checking. But we have so many things that we have to do on a daily basis. We may only get a chance to watch maybe 3 hours of TV during the week, and I dedicate 2 of those hours to y'all. All right, so this time right now we're or should I say this season, because I haven't posted the first season because I'm so busy editing and all that stuff. We're talking about Lost in Space 2018 and, of course, Luke Cage Season 2. Now, you didn't watch Season 1, did you?
Nope. No, I was. I got through the first episode and went, "Wow, this is really good. I need to save this when I could pay more attention to the TV."
I turned my back on you. I want you to know that.
Well, because a lot of times I put the TV on for background noise while I'm doing housework or working on the computer or whatever, so I don't really actually pay attention to the show. So if the show's good, I either miss out or I'm not doing what I'm doing. I'm watching the show.
I'm grokking your justice, man. I really am. So there's a couple of new things here because, like I said, we've been working toward the live casting forever. We really have. And the second part, though, is just with the live casting. We're looking good.
Yeah,
I know.
Pretty good.
I know about the damn yellow box. Okay, I'm working with the equipment I got.
This box?
Yeah. Yes, I'm working with the equipment I got. All right, and we're still about $2,500 away from being the production type of site that I want to be for you guys. So I'll leave a link to the GoFundMe page and all that jazz later on. Okay, I'm not going to give you guys the link now because I don't want to beg from you guys right now. I want to talk about TV, but first I'm going to let the henchman really explain the stuff that he watches because I have to run and get one of the monitors so that I can interact with the people that are leaving comments live, because it turns out people do that when you live stream. Who'd have thought?
All right, so you just want me to vamp here and talk about anything?
Well, I'm not saying, just talk about what we do on the show. I'm not saying vamp. You're not Kate Blanchett. You are not Kate Blanchett. You guys might know her as Hela from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And you're a good-looking man, but you ain't her.
All right, so, wow, okay. No pressure. So... we've been watching the Lost in Space, and we actually binge watched the whole thing over the course of a couple of days. So now we're going back over episode by episode, which is kind of a challenge because I keep wanting to rush ahead and get to the more exciting high points. Let's see what else. I've been watching Watched some Jessica Jones, and that is a pretty brutal show. I need to actually finish off that one, and then get back on course with Luke Cage. We also just finished up watching Black Lightning, which is now on Netflix, so you guys can watch along with us if you're interested. And you know, because that was a surprising show. I expected that show to have a lot more CW feel, a lot more Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Drag stuff out. Will they? Won't they? Nope. You think, the daughter has superpowers. That'll keep a secret. They drag that out over 3 or 4 episodes. Big reveal of the season finale. No,
spoilers, man. I'm glad you qualified that statement, because it was like I was a little bit surprised at the show. I'm like, what? You don't think black people can make a quality superhero show? I watched Mantis.
It was
Yeah, talk about dating myself. No, I should say I watched Blank Man. No, that was also the thing. You were saying?
I was just saying, I was really surprised that they really pushed forward with that show and really advanced the storyline a lot faster than I expected for a CW show. Because all the other shows, they tend to drag things out. The character development, will they, won't they, building tension, and they just powered through it. And I still think part of it is the vibe I got, because they really powered through some of the stuff, was that they didn't think they were going to get picked up for a second season, and they just wanted to hit all the high points. So I'm actually looking forward to see where they go from here, if they have a plan for the arc, and if they get kind of that point where, we're renewed. What do we do now?
No, I definitely understand where that goes in. So I just put out the announcement that, we're live streaming right now. We got Ruthless in the chat room, which is very cool. Bring in some friends, send the link. But we also just did the thing on Deckers on the Book. So we always open the show with the same things, which is who we are and what we do. Now, I'm going to tell you what I've been up to.
Okay, what you been up to?
VidCon was this weekend.
Oh, tell me about VidCon.
I can't, because I wasn't there. My mentors came into town, and they were there. They were there. So I was driving them around a bunch, going back and forth through the con, but everybody was there, like all the YouTubers. The Backpack Kid was there, and the Watch Mojo people, Matt Pat with Film Theory, all these YouTubers that are out there. And it was odd for me, because I'm not trying to be YouTube famous. I'm trying to get good subscribers for us. But again, it was in Anaheim. There is a giant convention center full of people that are making a living doing this. And unless you pay $250 for a ticket, you can't see them. Yeah. I mean, it was.
The streaming thing is kind of weird, because there's not a lot of equipment to support. I mean, there are a lot of people doing live streaming now, and it's actually really damn hard to set this up with most cameras. I mean, you get a USB camera. It's made for video conferencing, which means 2 feet from your face, sitting in front of the screen. Works great, but what if you want to do what we're doing, where you want to have 2 or 3 cameras shooting across the room, recording a live conversation, switching back and forth? Turns out not that easy to do. And I kind of scratch my head, because you would think that there's enough people doing it now that would become kind of a standard thing.
Well, it's not that it's not that easy to do, okay? It's just very, very, very expensive.
Well, yeah. It's easy to do if you've got a $4,000 camera. But it's like everyone who's a photographer usually winds up having a Canon Rebel of one version or another laying around. Okay, well, hey, look, they got a USB out. Does a USB out have live video? No.
Yeah, and then there's the buying of all the dongles. I mean, I'll tell you seriously. For what we've done so far at Back in the Deck, setting up the video streaming, getting all the equipment, the sound stuff, I know I've personally poured in about $3,000 over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And here's the tough part. If I had it all at once, it wouldn't have been a problem. But it was $200 here, $300 there, $35 there. Hell, I spent $300 this week on just getting all of the dongles and the and all of the witchamajiggers. Yeah, that's right. I said witchamajigger. What? To get the live stream going as it stands.
Yeah.
But I'm still about $2,500 away just to get the equipment. And you know what I gotta laugh about? Because again, this is this is all part of my week. Oh my goodness. What I have to laugh about on this is all of these YouTube video things sit up going, yeah, this is a thing. This is what we like doing, all that jazz, and they're doing a whole lot of great stuff. But they end up saying and doing the biggest piece of BS I've ever seen, which is, this is how to set up your live streaming in an affordable way. This is what you do when you are on a budget. And I'm like, screw you hippies. Because their version of on a budget is 2 to 4 $500 cameras, $1,000 video switcher, at least one, if not two, HDMI dongles into a computer that's an i8 with USB 3 in with a video card that's like a minimum 10,080, like an NVIDIA 1080, and freaking and super long battery life and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, on the cheap equals 4,000. Well, yeah, if you don't have 4,000, look, don't play that card. Fucking put that card back in the deck, because if you've got $3,000 laying around, you are actually middle class. And that is one of the things that really hurts. And that's one of the things that I'm here for, because I know y'all don't have $3,000 laying around today. And when I say $3,000, I mean on the cheap side, because the 4K cameras start at $1,500 and the lenses are at $5,000. You know, so you're talking $2,000 for a decent camera. And if you start shopping for all this stuff, you start to see how a movie can end up hitting a $10 million budget really quickly. I mean, it's some scary stuff, man. It really is.
Yeah, and it cracks me up considering how this all started from like people videotaping themselves with a phone or an old video camera, and it's become an actual like high-end production. And yeah, we're getting good quality, but I'm just surprised that, like I said, that you know, that cheap $80 video camera has a USB port. It has the capacity to have a USB output. They just choose not to do it.
Yeah.
And I would just think that if any like main manufacturer came out with a inexpensive streaming camera, it would become the go-to camera, and they would sell thousands of them.
Well, that's the thing, though. They're working on that. They have go-to towers and stuff. The stuff that's coming out this year, next year, is giving us quality way better than I'm producing right now. But the camera itself is still about $2,000 to $3,000.
But that's because everybody is jumping straight to 4K.
Mm-hmm.
The attitude is, oh, if this new camera, it's got to be 4K. Why can't someone make like I said, an $80 720p, like, you know, GoPro kind of thing that you push the button and it goes to YouTube?
Well, the truth behind that question is...
Well, the reason why I say that is there are multiple cameras out there that do that right now, but they don't do it to YouTube. They do it to their proprietary, you must buy their app, you must pay a subscription fee to subscribe to it. And because we looked into that for another project, and it was like, oh yeah, if I want to stream to someone's proprietary app, I can literally go out and buy like a Nest camera, point it, it's everything I need. It physically will not connect to YouTube, and that is a software decision, not a hardware one.
I understand exactly what you're saying, but there's a lot to unpack with all that stuff. Example, you asked, hey, why is it that everybody is jumping straight to 4K? Okay, well, straight to 4K. And the answer to that question is really, really simple, my friend. It's because in the 21st century, the way that we work stuff comes down to one major idea. And that is, if it existed last year and there's something new on the market, the thing that you had last year is a piece of crap. You should set it on fire. If it's not new, it sucks. And I don't believe that idea. I do not believe that idea whatsoever. But that is what people believe. I mean, you've watched me over the years put together all this jazz, like all this jazz. And every person that I went to was like, well, you need to get this thing. I'm like, I don't have $5,000. Well, if you don't have $5,000 to do it, then don't try at all. And I'm like, what? What the? I just don't, because if it's not new, then it's not relevant. So that's why the gear and stuff is going straight to 4K. The second bit, the real second bit is as far as an all-in-one device that does it, there's a lot of political stuff and union stuff behind all that jazz. But really what it comes down to is, if it comes out and it's doing its thing, the market becomes more flooded and professionals start to lose more and more work. So we have to let a lot of that stuff, we have to trickle it out just to make sure people can pay their mortgages for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Well, we looked into, because for the other project we were working on, we looked into trying to do live stream to YouTube. And I'm like, well, there's got to be a professional thing, a box that does this. Maybe we'll just pony up the cash and buy the expensive gear. And I looked into it, like, dedicated device to stream to YouTube. There was one. It was $4,000. It didn't work.
Ooh.
It was the professional, like, go down to like the rental house to get the camera. There was one company making it. All the reviews said we could not get this thing to stream.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, it doesn't actually do its job. And so we wound up using, surprise, surprise, Open Broadcaster on an old laptop and a large amalgamation of random cameras that I think we wound up buying 5 different cameras and taking them back before we finally found a camera that could actually hook up to the laptop, more than one, to stream to YouTube.
Yeah. And honestly, and you were doing that project like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, within that 5 or 6 years, the technology has jumped through the roof, and that's been what's costing so much.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that's out now, like, it's blinding. It's really, really, really blinding when it comes to the gear. Because as you know, I've been trying to do this stuff. I've been trying to do the relevancy, and the company has just been strangling my pocketbook. Just like, hey, yeah, that's good. You're doing this. And somebody offered me like $10,000. Somebody offered me $10,000 for a piece of the business, and I'm like, I don't know. I want to think about. I mean, the offer is on the table, so I got a lot of time to think about it. But that's a whole lot of stuff up front. That's nice, but I don't know.
Then you have a commitment to perform, and there's a lot of pressure to return on investment. Yeah.
But right now, we are finally at this point in summer 2018 when we're recording this, where that $3,000 that I'm complaining about is literally attainable, partly because money doesn't spend the way it used to, which means people are making more. It's not inflation, it's more than that. Talk to an economist. But at the same time, that same stuff was $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 10 years ago, and $10,000 5 years ago when you were doing that project that you were working on. It's kind of disheartening, because I'm like, well, maybe I'll wait until what I want to do today will be affordable, like I do with everything else. But then there's a weird aspect, okay? And I was talking with the DT guys about this, because there's this desire, if you will, to get out there and want to catch up with everybody that's doing it. Want to be there with your heroes. You know? I look at a lot of YouTubers and a lot of streamers that have their own stuff. Like, I did Stream of Many Eyes about a month ago, and I'm looking at their gear and their sets, and their lighting and their costumes and their live streaming of their D&D games, and these are professional actors and professional voice actors who play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So we're watching people whose job it is to role play for fun without getting yelled at. And then there's us. I go home and I'm just like, oh my God, I don't ever want to play a D&D game again. I'm going to take some actors workshops, and I'm going back to college and getting a 4th degree. I'm getting a degree in creative writing, and you know, then you just got to step the hell back.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking at the dongles to get us this far, like to where we are right now, live casting for y'all. Send your friends some links. I know people are at home. And I looked at all the stuff that the internet tells me to do. Bad idea. Bad idea. Because the internet goes, well, it's simple. You just need this dongle that costs $500. And this camera that costs $3,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's got to be a different brand. I mean, you know, I and the rest of the and a lot of the Deckers out there, we're not exactly from the best of neighborhoods. But to say that means Cocoa Puffs are great, but that big bag of Puff cereal that your mama bought and poured into the Cocoa Puffs box does the exact same job. So there's always a generic thing. No, you're not going to get Martin Scorsese level. But I met with some Deckers this week, trying to get in more of a foothold into the black community around Watts and Compton. And one of them's in film school. He's going to be joining us really soon. And I just blew his mind with the stuff I learned from college. And the major thing was, I looked at him and I'm like, you're what, 26? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. Actually, no, he was 23. Because nobody likes you when you're 23. And that's a dated reference to a song that came out when I was 23. Google the phrase. And sure enough, I looked at him and I quoted Kalishnikov, the dude that invented the AK-47. I'm like, I know you're going to want to get everything down to the nth degree. But part of filmmaking is trying your best to come in with the highest quality you can get within time frame and under budget.
Yeah.
So, the best that you're reaching for is the enemy of good enough. Just finish it, get it out there. By the way, this is all a really big excuse on my part, because that's why there's a big yellow square around me right now. Big yellow square. I can't give you guys the best until we get the funds to get the better equipment. But you know what? I've been working on this for 6 years. The company's been working on it for 5.5 years. And continuing to trying to get that quality up is why nobody knows who we are, or more to the point, why people haven't started learning who we are until now. I fell into that trap. And being at that YouTube convention, or around that YouTube convention, because since San Diego Comic-Con is coming up, there's going to be a lot of being around that convention, because not everybody can get in, but there's always the
there's a lot of stuff around the outside.
You know, you learn a lot, and it's really easy. Like, you go through that with cosplay, right?
Yeah, because I was wanting to do some cosplay stuff, which is, you know, a challenge when you got, you know, belly and facial hair. And but then I was like, hey, I got a 3D printer, I got a CNC machine, I can start doing some costuming stuff that other people haven't seen. I can do some really cool stuff. And I was just kind of really getting enthusiastic and working on some ideas. And then all the cool cosplayers got 3D printers and CNC machines, and I'm like, I can't catch up. And I just kind of looked at it and went, the level of quality that they're able to produce just took such a huge leap that I felt that I couldn't compete. And it kind of was, in a way, it was very exciting to see, but it also was very disheartening, because then I realized, wow, yeah, I'm never going to be able to like perform at that level. And, you know, but I still love it, and I still try it. I do the projects that I can. And one of these days I'll get around to doing something, you know, that I feel is worthy. Same with Halloween. It's like only every 2 or 3 years am I able to do anything for Halloween where I feel to my satisfaction that I did something awesome. Whereas, as a Stickman pointed out, he's like, your worst half-ass is better than most people's best when it comes to setting up for Halloween stuff. And, but I don't see it that way because I only see the flaws.
And see, honestly, that is the stuff that I have been on all of you guys about for years, actually decades at this point. Sometimes I know it seems a little weird. And it seems very much like, well, if I do what you're telling me to do right now, Solar, I'm just going to get laughed at, or I'm just, a whole lot of people. And this takes us into our subjects for today. I do come from the ghetto, and now I'm in the suburbs, and the same idea applies, which is you are only as good as your last screw up. Yeah. You know what I have to say to that? Screw them. Screw those guys. Again, the best is the enemy of good enough. But when you get out there and you do your best, angels can't do better than that. Mm-hmm. That's what my great-grandmother used to tell me. And I believe that to this very day. So I do the best I can every day that I can do something. Because in truth, and this is a really big truth, my best ain't consistent from day to day.
Yeah.
Some days I'm at an 11. Other days I'm at a 4. But I give it all I got every time. And that's what I'm telling you guys to do. Just give it all you got. If you're trying to tell yourself that it's got to be perfect quality, then, before you can even get started, take that analysis paralysis card and put that back in the deck. But speaking of, that's right, I did a segue because I've been thinking about this today. But speaking about only as good as your last fight, Luke Cage dropped this weekend. Mm-hmm. Luke Cage Season 2. Now, I know that you didn't finish watching Luke Cage Season 1. You admitted that publicly, and that was very brave of you.
You're going to give me shit about this until I finally catch up, aren't you?
How much shit have I given you about Black Panther?
A bit.
Yeah. Because Luke Cage has been out longer. Yeah. Much longer. But, again, it's blaxploitation. But it's the adult side. It's Black Lightning, but a little more grown up. Okay, just a tiny bit more grown up on this.
Well, because it's. I saw a lot of with his tie-in with Jessica Jones. It's a Netflix show as opposed to Black Lightning, which is a CW show.
Oh yeah.
So it's a lot darker.
And it's like, go Black Lightning. Yeah, I mean exactly. It is a whole lot darker. But it has a lot of the same lessons as Black Lightning, but it's not network TV.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So when it does that, hey, black man, you're a black man. Therefore, the world hates you, black man. It shows it. And this season, talk about the division of black culture. Because a lot of people don't know that black culture, we have our own divisions. Mm-hmm. Okay? We've got the financial division, the desire for class division, and and the slave trade did a lot of damage to people that look like my skin, because each region that got slaves went through their history, and each different slave region has a different opinion about all the others. And Luke Cage Season 2 deals a lot with the opinions and history of the Jamaican slave trade versus the American slave trade. Yeah, it's a thing. And how can I put it? The acting is, well, we'll get to that when I do when we do the entire season wrap up. But until then, what we've got is, I'm trying to find the pictures here. There we go. What we've got is an amazingly fun cast. And with that cast, well, huh? Oh, sorry, I did the incorrect thing there. Yeah, with the cast, we have got people that are way too attractive for my own good. I mean that. Way too attractive for my own good. Yeah. Because, of course, we got Mr. Koltor himself, Mr. Luke, Mr. Cage Wage, Mr. Luke Cage the man. Got a little thumbnail of the guy right there. You know, there we go. Yeah, I mean, you know, John Koltor, that's a good looking man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, look at me, I'm good looking. And of course, now that man right there
Mm-hmm.
has got the stupidest. Okay, I can't say the stupidest name in comic books because there are a lot of stupid names in comic books. But that man is the Bushmaster. Bushmaster. That's right, the Bushmaster. But his real name is Mustafa Shakir.
Okay.
That name gives me shivers down my spine every time I say it.
Mustafa.
Ooh,
I'm going to do it again. Mustafa Shakir.
ooh, yeah, look at that. That's right. That's Mustafa. You know, and that is some jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, and those two, they get into some fights. I will tell you this, but I gotta say, the first time that that Bushmaster shows up, it's pretty cool. We'll get to that episode. What I will say is that the first episode was directed by Lucy Liu.
Really?
Yes, and it looks it. Because, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it is so poorly directed. I hate to say that. Because, you know, I love Lucy Liu's acting.
Mm-hmm.
I love the projects that she chooses. I really like the fact that she is one of the powerful actors, especially in the Asian community. And Asia don't get much love from Hollywood. They really don't. But if you're going to go for an Asian director, there were better.
Didn't work out so well.
Not so well. I was talking with the Hobbit about it, you know, with my little vixen, and I'm like, oh my God, the director. And she's like, well, you know, the writer played their part. And I'm like, oh, I'm not saying they didn't, but she made the decision to say, we'll go with that take.
Yeah.
That's how you read the line. Okay, that's the one we'll use. And this season, this episode was I mean, it was cool in the sense of, for those of you guys that watched last season,
Mm-hmm.
here are all the callbacks to last season that we're going to give you before we move on to the story.
Okay.
So a little bit of previously on Luke Cage, and followed up with, haha, you know the super weapon from season 1? That doesn't work anymore. Okay, now we're moving on. And they did really good of establishing Luke as, I'm more powerful now. However, he gets his ass beat a lot. A lot. And the first episode shows a lot of Luke Cage's financial problems. And this is a thing with Marvel Comics. Because Marvel superheroes come in two flavors. Super rich. We're talking Reed Richards, who's like Bill Gates plus Elon Musk plus any other billionaire that I haven't bothered saying anything about, or dirt poor. Like, there is no in between.
Yeah.
You are either Spider-Man or you are Danny Rand. It's one of the two. And Luke Cage is in that Spider-Man territory where it's like, well, damn, I need a job. Damn, the landlady's trying to take away the barbershop I inherited because, well, me being around does tend to bring supervillains around, and insurance rates go up and houses start exploding. So
Yeah.
that's an okay thing. It's not what I want out of my comic book shows,
Mhm.
but it is what I want out of like my crime shows.
Yeah.
You know, just a little bit of consequence.
Yeah, dealing with the how do you survive in the everyday world when you've got not only everyday problems but superhero problems. Yeah. So, oh look, we had a fight and we fell off the roof and smashed the car. Yeah, that was my car. I don't have a car now. Thanks a lot. As opposed to cutscene, and then we never find out about that car ever again.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that, and that's a real thing.
especially also when those, well, like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, all those are also very focused on the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They're very neighborhood centric. It's not, they're fighting to save the world. They're not fighting interdimensionals, supervillains. They're like, no, it's neighborhood crime. So when you punch through a brick wall, that's your neighbor's brick wall. Captain Collateral Damage.
Yeah, and believe me, there is a lot of them
why
fights.
why don't we have a street light in the street anymore? Well, Superman tied up a couple of bank robbers with it, and the city is not going to replace it.
Yeah, and so that was an interesting thing, but a lot of the directorial choices in that first episode were like, well, you're learning to be a director. Okay.
Has she done anything else as a director, or was this one of her first projects?
That is a question for the Internet Movie Database. I'll look it up in a minute, but...
No, we don't have to look it up. We're live streaming this. People should be telling us in the comments. Come on.
We don't have that many viewers this week. But, again, this is the first time that we're doing this, and I put the announcement out saying, hey, we're live streaming in 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And, of course, we were late. But, because I'm terrible. But, as like a directorial debut, it wasn't bad starting off with a 45-minute show that's on a service that people are going to pay for either way. So, honestly, yeah, it got me thinking that maybe Netflix is the place for a lot of new directors to cut their teeth outside of YouTube,
Yeah.
Because, let's face it, those who got Netflix are going to have Netflix one way or another.
Yeah.
It's $7, so it's like... Well, it's $7 for TV without commercials that I can watch anytime, and I don't have to go out of my house to do it.
I would think I was watching the...
Speak up.
I think I was watching the Martin Shore and Steve Martin special on Netflix, and I think it was them. It was some. I watched like 5 stand-up things back to back, so I'm pretty sure it was them who said it. Which was, hey, we're streaming to everyone on Netflix, or everyone who happens to know someone who has a Netflix account. As a silent nod to a lot of people who are using their friend's Netflix login,
and they know it.
Yeah, and the Netflix response was like, yeah, you know what? It just adds more subscribers because people want their own subscription, and it's not prohibitively expensive. So, Yeah,
so let's see here.
I know Netflix tends to drive the old paradigm people crazy because they don't follow the old rules. They're like, well, what was the ratings on the Luke Cage episode 1? Netflix is like, we don't care.
Well, no, that's not exactly... Okay. Netflix episode 1, season 1 broke the internet. It literally caused the servers for Netflix to go down. Too many people turned in, and it was like, why isn't my Netflix working? Oh, wow, look at this. We got Nicholas Hurst saying over in the chat, yep, Lucy Liu directed 5 episodes of Elementary, a movie called Mina, and 1 episode of Graceland before this. So, I guess there went her finding her stride. Sorry, it should have been better. I mean, it really should have been. But again, and her job was like, yeah, I'll allow that reading for that line. But here's the thing, man. And this isn't me being geeked out because, not because I'm black and not because I'm a comic book geek, but all in all, it's strangely compelling. Like, if you really want to, it comes down to, if you want to watch the show, there's a good enough reason to watch the show. If you don't want to watch the show, like avidly don't, because you're from Charlotte or Charlottesville, then it doesn't matter who directed it. And if you're in the middle, if you liked Shaft, or if you're thinking about seeing Superfly or Dolomite when that comes out, because fine, Dolomite, as Donald Glover said. Okay, okay, we're making Spider-Man black now. Is that what we're doing? Is that what? Why not make Michael Cera be Shaft? And I'm like, ugh. Now Dolomite, on the other hand, I can see Michael Cera doing that, but yeah. So if you are up for that stuff, and if you're thinking about going to see Superfly or something, but didn't want to go to the movies, then Luke Cage would scratch that itch. Yeah, because it's got the cool funky music. Yeah, it's got some dude that needs his ass kicked, butt kicked, and it's got a dude that will kick that butt.
Yeah.
And then that dude has to fight somebody that can kick his butt. So butt kicking everywhere, butt kicking, to Isaac Hayes music, and to Ghostface Killer, and to all that stuff.
And there is something to be said to be watching the righteous beatdown of someone who needs it. There's no moral quandary. There's no gray area. It's like, no, that guy is a bad guy, all caps, and now we are going to punish the bad guy. And then afterwards, try to figure out how I'm going to keep my business open because I'm too busy punishing the bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, truly, I am a really big fan, really big fan of watching people get their butts kicked when they need their butts kicked. I promised myself a long time ago that I would never, ever hit my own children. I would never do that. I would never hit my children. But you know what? Some children need to be hit. And when I say that, I mean some children who are in their 30s need to be hit. Can I get an amen? Because sometimes I'm serious, man. It is truly one of them things where, again, you need somebody needs a kicking. Somebody needs a kicking, and Luke Cage will give them that kicking. If you guys are wondering what I'm looking at, I'm also interacting with some people on
the stream.
On the stream, and
I'm just reminded of when you showed me the comics from Luke Cage, like the
Oh.
original Luke Cage comics, because I'm like,
Christmas.
yeah, you're showing that to me, and I'm like, that is his costume? You're effing kidding me. Let's see if you can pull it up. But yeah, it's because it's like late 70s, was it? When did it come out? And so he's got the fro, and he's wearing broken chains, and it's like, wow. And then the best part of the storyline is, and I did not know this, Doctor Doom screws him over
for $200.
For $200, like closes the Latvia embassy and flees the country, and rather than pay his $200 bill to a local private investigator, which is crazy because I do know that in later comics, Doctor Doom makes a point about always paying his bills. Although maybe he learned that valuable lesson from Luke Cage.
But so for those of you guys listening on SoundCloud and not watching live on Thing, I will say we're talking just do a look, but Luke Cage's outfit was inspired by slavery. I mean that's really.
Oh yeah, no, that was literally the symbol.
But so it's the
I
colors.
gotta stop moving around so much so I don't get yellow boxed.
Screw the yellow box. If they don't like it, they can donate to the GoFundMe. But the original costume. I mean, there we have it right here. We got Luke Cage wearing a broken chain, bracelets, and that elegant tiara for those nights out where you have to formally beat someone's ass.
The weird superhero foamy boots.
Hey.
Have you ever...
Hey. We don't talk poorly about knee-high boots. Not here. Because
I like knee-high boots. Those aren't knee-high boots. Those are like knee-high boots made out of friendly foam.
I don't know. I mean, look at those. I mean, they're the knee-high
okay,
boots.
Granted, his calf is as big as around as my head. Yeah, exactly. That's part of it.
Exactly. But, because my mentor talks about that all the time. He's like, yeah, what's up with, like, Captain America and the Punisher and Luke Cage? They all wear go-go boots. And I'm like, I wear those boots, man.
Well, I guess part of the reason why I'm focusing on the boots is I look at that costume and I'm like, okay, how would I cosplay that? I'm like, I'm never going to find shoes like that. I've tried.
I will say this. I would make you your costume if you cosplayed Luke Cage.
Oh, come on. That would not work.
Huh? Why not? Because you're white? Come on, man. Put it back in the deck. I mean, it's... What we're
have you seen his chest? Like, as to mention, his calves are big around his head.
Yeah, but you know what? And
now, if I did kind of a like aging Elvis kind of version,
but no, I mean seriously, if you look at Luke Cage, that could be a real baggy shirt. Real baggy shirt.
But they don't make a shirt that baggy, man.
Yeah,
I haven't.
You're not.
But I'm like a complete segue. There's a hilarious sequence. One of my favorite like superhero TV series sequences is from Lois and Clark, when Clark's mom, when Martha Kent is helping him make his superhero costume.
Okay.
And there's a montage of him trying on about a dozen different costumes. There's one that looks like the Flash, and one kind of looks like Batman. And he's trying all these costumes. He doesn't like them, but then she makes him these boots, and he puts the boots on. He's like, I like the boots. And so they stick with the boot design, and the great line is when she finally finishes on the costume, because they went from baggy to long capes and everything. He's got the traditional Superman spandex, tidy red costume, and Martha Kent looks at him and he goes, "What do you think? You think it's too much?" And she looks at him and goes, "Well, no one's going to notice your face, Mom."
Yeah. And no one great, so
Yeah.
it's like, hey.
But as someone who looks, when you're into cosplay, you start looking at the shoes, because shoes are hard.
See, I thought you started looking at shoes in cosplay because you were petrol flexible, so it just kind of
Petrol? Gasoline?
no hetero
Oh.
flexible.
I thought you said petro flexible. I'm like, yes, I do diesel and unleaded. I don't.
No. It's just like because part of being around cosplay is being like surrounded by really, really gorgeous people, and it's like, yeah, when I think about cosplay, it's like, oh my god, look at those shoes.
Pretty
Like-
much, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, she's hot like fire, but I've got issues older than her. But look at them boots. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am a geek, because I see someone in a hot cosplay and I run up and I go, "Where did you get the shoes?"
No, you're not a geek. You're a grown man. And see, that's one of the things, because we've been trying to work with some cosplayers, because we are grown ass men that are going, yeah, the sex thing is really nice, but we make things. To quote Ruthless over here in the Ruthless Archon, it's like, yeah, you know what? We build things. We are men. We are not boys. We are men. We are adults. Adults build. We support. And sometimes you got to be like, oh my God, I love those shoes. How can I support you in getting me a pair? Yeah, I mean, seriously, I met a wonderful cosplayer that might be working with us on a job, and she was wearing the Clockwork boots that I'm like, why don't those things come in men? Like, why don't they come in men's sizes? Well, and, in men's styles, because, you put me in freaking pointy stiletto heels, bad things happen all the way through the time stream. I tried it. I'm sorry. Mandela effect. It's a long story.
Well, as is always pointed out, corsets and high heels were originally for men.
Yeah, it's true. It's true because we're middle aged now, so we could kind of use corset right now because of the.
Yeah, I need a Shatner class.
Yeah, it's Dad Bod 101.
I'd love to have a dad bod. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Oh, somebody needs to see me in stilettos. Well, in that case, head over to the GoFundMe and donate more than $200. Because $200 or more, and you get a picture of me.
Or are we doing the LARP dress thing now?
No. We're not going that far. But if people want to see me live in high heels, then that means the cost is $35,000. What? I know my price. Because I am kind of, poor and trying to build a community, and you got to do whatever it takes when you're trying to do something. Which brings us right back to Luke Cage, because damn it, we're trying to fight all of this divergence in topic. But so that first episode on our scale, since we use poker things, I gotta say, episode 1 was just a pair.
Just a pair.
It was just a pair. Solid pair.
Was it because of the direction you were feeling?
Yes, the direction. Well, the direction plus the writing. Because I'm not gonna lie, you might not like this show because I know for a fact, and the viewers are about to find out, you are lactose intolerant. And oh my God, the cheese! There's so much cheese in this dialogue. Like, I swear. Tillamook in Oregon and all of Wisconsin now have their own GDP from the amount of cheese that someone was paid to write.
So they were just hitting all the cliches, all the tropes.
Oh my God.
Really
Oh my God. It was just like, I'm not gonna quote anything directly because you just gotta tune in and watch it. But just watch 25 of the 45 minutes of episode 1
You're
on
really
Netflix.
selling me on this, man.
You know.
I'm just telling you. I'm really looking forward to going home and catching up.
Okay, you know what? You can hit me with all the sarcasm that you want, but I know you watched Exterminator City.
Twice.
Exactly. So don't give me that, oh, you're selling me on this stuff crap. So, because you like bad, and this is, again, a lot of cheese in the dialogue. Just a whole lot of cheese in the dialogue.
Well, now,
And,
is he, here's a question to see if I'll enjoy it. Is he the hero or is he a vigilante?
Who, Luke?
Luke.
Oh, he's a hero.
Okay.
Except for when he has his moment of vigilantism.
So he does have a few moments where he crosses over, goes a little darker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because
Because that was one thing that was really irking me with Black Lightning. And I understand why he has to be the hero. He has to be better. He has to work within the system. But there was some shenanigans going on where I'm like, there's a point where you just say, nope.
yeah. Funny thing about that, though, and it is a really funny thing, that moment that you have to say no is kind of your privilege showing. Because when you are that kind of leader, that kind of inspiration, you don't get those moments to say no. Because again, you are only as good as your last ass whooping. So if Black Lightning has one moment of punching a cop, he's no longer a principal, he's no longer a vigilante, he's no longer a community leader. He's the angry black man that punched a cop. You know the old joke. Build 100 bridges and put together civilizations. Are you Bob the Bridge Builder? No. I save 100 children from catastrophe and win a war. Do they call me Bob the War Builder? No. But you fuck one cow. You know. Just one. And for the rest of your life. And that is, and Luke Cage actually talks about that later on, but we'll get to that in the episode. Because there are 13 episodes in this season, and it could have wrapped at episode 8. That is the biggest problem with Luke Cage season 2, is that it's too damn long.
Really?
It's too damn long because in order to make it that long, you either need compelling story or padding.
And they padded.
There's a lot of padding, but it's similar to the Black Lightning padding. The problem was that Black Lightning already did it. And it's the padding they have is, let's have a little bit more exposition, and we know our audience is black, so we have to inform our white audience of this. So you won't see it as padding, but you'll see it as, well, Black Lightning said the same thing, like by episode 5. That was interesting. So, yeah, but again,
so there's a lot of explaining to the white audience what's going on.
Yeah,
because they don't have the cultural reference.
Yeah, but Luke Cage actually made it clear, like they were talking. Well, we need somebody to testify. Why don't you testify? And he's like, I'm a 6'3" black dude who's an ex-con and a vigilante. My word doesn't mean anything in court because that's all they see. Even though I was exonerated, even though my record was sealed, you know, there's a moment where Luke Cage gets sued, and that was but we'll get to that later on. But this is mild spoiler. Foggy Nelson is his lawyer, and he's saying you need to settle out of court because if you beat the crap out of a wife beater, that's great. But when you get to court, you are a 6'3" ex-con black dude with superpowers. That's what the jury is gonna see.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, yeah, there is that. And it's one of those sad but true things. But it is it is a thing. So, yeah. But as far as episode 1 goes, really cheesy, kind of fun. It's interesting watching where Harlem ended up going after the whole Defenders thing. You know, they still do that weird thing where they're like, we're gonna reference the Avengers, but we're not gonna call anybody by their names. You know, so it's somebody straight up asked Luke in one of the episodes, "Who's stronger, you or the green guy?" And I'm like, really?
Really?
Green guy?
Is because they couldn't afford to use the name?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm kind of curious about that because...
Well, they never say Captain America or Thor or Nick Fury. They always describe them. And I know Marvel has Thor. It's like, who's stronger, you or Thor? But they talk about the blonde guy.
That is weird.
I don't know. Legal stuff.
Yeah, there's probably some kind of branding thing. Like if they mention them, they have to pay a certain amount or do a licensing fee. So they just tap dance around it rather than go there. And that's a shame because they've been doing a really good job of tying in all the other properties. So.
Yeah, so.
Like, make it easy to do that thing. It's called synergy.
Yeah. Could I get you to scoot over to your left just a little bit? That works.
How's that?
Yeah, that should work. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's a lot better.
How's that? Better?
Yeah,
okay.
That is a lot better.
Awesome.
We're still working this stuff out, people. So yeah, but Luke Cage episode 1, it's a pair. It's not even a 3 of a kind. It's a pair. I'm glad it's on Netflix because that means I can watch it at my leisure. If it were on network TV, I don't know. And let's just say I haven't made time for Agents of Shield. And if you guys out there in the chat are wondering, we might do Westworld after Luke Cage, but the internet is flooded with everybody talking about Westworld. So we'll see what's up. But moving on. Yeah, moving on.
Messed up show.
Westworld?
Yeah, I've only seen the first 3 episodes of it, but man, that was
so you're still in Westworld. Pay $10,000 to rape a robot. Hooray! Yeah. Which is why I had a problem watching it. But I hear good things. Good things. So moving on to Lost in Space. So yeah, we're covering Lost in Space season 3 or season 2 season 1.
Season 1 episode 3.
Yeah.
Infestation.
Ugh. Infestation.
Now, this is their aliens episode. So you've got basically the Jupiter 2 is trapped in the ice and they're trying to repair it, and things are looking good until they discover that all their fuel is vanishing at a alarming rate.
Like who's smoking our fuel? What's going on?
Like as in like are we, do we have a leak? Are we, what's going on? And they can watch the gas gauge is dropping as they watch it, and they find out. And that's actually when you get to see the robot, because the robot suddenly starts staring at the walls, freaking out, and then she locks the kid in the closet and won't let him out because there's something in the wall, and it's protecting the kid.
Yeah.
And that's when they discover that their fuel lines have been infested by poop. I almost called them poop weasels. Poop eels.
Not poop eels, fuel eels.
Well, they were eating the fuel because the fuel was reminiscent of their natural food source.
It's true, and their
fuel is biofuel made from poop.
You're jumping ahead. We don't find that out until way later. But yeah, they really are gas weasels.
Yeah, they're gas weasels. And even when I saw the episode fresh, my first thought was, because they make the comment, well, they catch one, it's gross, it reeks, it's full of blue goo, they slice it open, they're doing analysis, and the mom makes the comment, our fuel must be very similar to these creatures' natural food source. They're attracted to it, and they're devouring it and reproducing at an alarming rate. And if we don't get them out, we're not going to have enough fuel to get off the planet in like an hour.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a race against the race against the clock. Plus, you've got these like 8-foot moray eels slithering around in the ship, and they're not happy about sharing it with people. So it's pretty scary. They're in the ducts, they're in the pipes, they're dropping down, they're in the water. So you got that kind of Jaws feel. It's it was actually a very riveting, very like exciting and suspenseful episode. And my one thought when I saw it, my first thought when she said that was, well, if these things' natural food source is like your fuel, then when you get rid of them, you just need to find out what it is they normally eat and turn that into fuel.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's something that is close enough. And but they do manage to. That's also when we get flashbacks to Dr. Smith's backstory. We find out who she really is.
And that's what I wanted to address on that, but a little bit later. As far as the fuel weasels,
Yes.
this actually is, I gotta say it, this is still where I'm enjoying Lost in Space.
Yeah.
I'm really digging that because as a fan of the original show, I like Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
I like Complication of the Week.
Yeah.
I like Swiss Family Robinson, or should I say Space's Family Robinson, which was cool. And for those of you guys wondering, I say that every time I say space because of Lost in Space. It was Lost in Space.
Yeah.
And but dealing with the monster was awesome. Dealing with the environment, and that's one thing that this show has done really well.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 1 with that whole freezing thing, that was tense. That was like, oh my God, is this girl, like, did they finally hire a black cast member so they can kill her in the first episode? I was really, really, really convinced that she might have died that one. And I know TV, you know?
Yeah.
And episode 2 with that damn storm that was raining diamond shards
Yeah.
on everything. I'm like, dude, you guys are screwed.
And they actually do also a good job of cutting back to the daughter and showing she's like just having PTSD and like freaking out because she's flashing back to being entombed alive in solid ice.
Yeah, and
this leaves lasting psychological damage.
Yeah, and seriously, and you know, episode 2 with the freaking diamond dust falling out of the sky, and then episode 3. Episode 3, we've now got fuel weasels.
And this is
fuel weasels.
and this is when you begin to realize this planet is just trying to kill them.
Yes.
Like this planet that you become the planet, you realize the planet is a character and it is the enemy and it is a horrible, horrible place.
And you know, honestly, that's where I get my tension from in these days. As you know, I watch a lot of horror movies.
Yeah.
And the only movie that has really scared me in the past 3 years was Gravity with Sandra Bullock. Because space is a character and it is a dick. And on Lost in Space, this planet is a compelling character with a lot of facets.
Yeah.
Like wrinkles and veins, because the planet that they're stranded on is a dick. It's just a dick.
Yeah.
Because,
and like I was gonna say, in this episode, they do the horror movie. They tie into Alien. They use some of the Alien shots and tropes.
Oh,
they
it's
use some of
very
the Jaws.
claustrophobic.
And but even when I saw it, I was engaged. I really liked that episode. It was really scary, and I was like, are they gonna get out? Because like you said, I'm like, they might actually kill someone. You know, you don't know if these characters how invested, because we've learned from other series that they might just up and kill a main character just because, you know.
Yeah. So thank you, Dan and Dave, for restoring our faith in the tension of television. You know, but we're now Dr. Smith. That was interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting take on Smith's character, because we flash back to her. She's talking to her sister. Now, note, when we've seen Earth in the first 2 episodes, we first saw Earth. Earth was okay, and you know, just kind of this advanced tech Earth, maybe a little bit of pollution, but quite livable. And then the night of the comet. And, you know, people were wearing dust masks and going through these huge dust bowls just to go shopping. And then they cut away to Dr. Smith's sister, who looks like she's somewhere up in maybe up in Canada somewhere.
Well, somewhere in the north.
Yeah, she's in the north. She's in the forest. It's idyllic. The environment is actually in pretty good shape. They don't have the dust clouds. They don't have all of the fallout from the meteor strike. So, and it's very wealthy house, and it's the rich, you know, successful sister, and then her screw up little sister, who is, you know, she's the shoplifter, she's the druggie, she's the con artist. And, you know, basically,
as a matter of fact, we got a
Got a
picture, Parker,
picture.
right there.
Yep.
Like, Yeah, you know, that's not the girl from Mighty Wind. That's not the one that I had a crush on or anything like that.
Yeah, and
But
that's
yeah,
when
she's all like ragamuffined out and all that jazz.
yeah, and the successful sister is like, well, I'm going to go off planet to go live in this ideal the ultimate gated community, and so I can't take everything with me. So you can have the house, the car. Can I have your clothes? You can have my clothes too.
So I can have, I can just be you. I can just be who you are. And then comes the bad stuff. Now, one of the things that I liked, and I think we talked about this last week, was that the Dr. Smith character, I don't remember, and it's only because it's been so many decades since I watched Lost in Space regularly. Dr. Smith, we never quite found out what he was a doctor of. And in this one, it was, I'm Dr. Smith. I'm a psychologist. Yeah, a psychologist. But later on in that episode, when she gets made on the colony or on the ship, getting prepared to go, it was like, well, we have a new life. We didn't plan on criminals, which means we don't have a criminal justice system, which means I can do anything to you that I want. And I'm like, is he talking rape, skinning alive, blowing out of the airlock? All I know is that even in space, when you've got the 1% going off into the cosmos to start a utopia, people are still jerks.
Yeah,
they're seriously jerks, because I'm like, okay, this really established for, I think, the regular person, that, you know, she was down on her luck. She didn't have a whole lot of opportunity or didn't know how to seize a lot of opportunity. And then she gets a chance for opportunity and she shows how evil she is.
yeah,
But then they juxtapose that with how evil the people that are doing this thing are as well. Because, again, the I can do anything to you that I want. How dare you lie and come up here? And how dare you push this guy out of an airlock? But she really, like, it was arguable. And I think that's where the directors and the writers come into it hard. Like, yes, she murdered a dude. There's no question about that. She could have pushed the button and let him back in.
yeah, because you see the moment in her eyes when she makes the conscious decision, reaches for the button, and then goes, oh, wait, if I do nothing, he'll be just in space, and all these problems go away.
Or might go away.
And so she makes the choice to let him die.
Yeah.
And, you know, her justification is, well, I just did nothing. So by doing nothing, I did not make a morally ambiguous choice. And they're like, no, you flat out murdered that guy.
Yeah.
Like, you had your hand on the button, and when you lifted it away, that's when you chose for him to die. I mean,
It's the bad line from Batman Begins. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's also, as a GM, that's when you're looking at your PC and going, no, dude, you're taking an alignment hit. I didn't kill him. Dude, you're taking an alignment hit. You and I both know you killed him.
Yeah.
Like, we're just splitting hairs at this point.
Yeah, it's
And
talking about the how,
Yeah,
not
and
the that.
And again, I know it was very obvious that the director was trying to show that in her mind, she was still a good person.
Well, yeah.
Or at least she wasn't an evil person.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Not a good, yeah. Because, yeah, her justification and crazy just ramps up later on in the series. But then, like, when she's attacking her sister and she's like, she drugs her sister, and her sister realizes drug. There's actually a funny moment when the sister realizes that she's drugged, and no word is said, but they had look back and forth and do that sibling communication. The sister knows exactly what the sister, what Dr. Smith is planning, and they just kind of stare at each other. And then she's like wobbling, and Dr. Smith's like, hurry up and fall down so I can steal your ident card and like take your place. And then she, steals her makeup, steals her clothes, and takes her sister's place. And the whole time when I'm watching this flashback, I'm thinking, she's not very bright. Because yes, you can get on the ship, but what happens when you're on the ship with no place to go, 6 weeks into the flight, and the message catches up that, you got a stowaway.
Well, she didn't think that far ahead.
Yeah.
The part that I thought that she was dumb about is, okay, we're not talking that the sister lived in Cabrini Green, you guys. All right, she wasn't living in like rural Mississippi. This chick had, by California standards, like a $4 million house, a couple of sports cars, a couple of, I mean, she was well off. I'm not going to say wealthy because...
But she could afford a ticket to the ultimate gated community.
Yeah, the ultimate gated community off planet where you can't even take your old stuff. So her sister said, here is my millionaire lifestyle. Here is, I mean, you just came up. You just got the Cristal and the Bentley and all that stuff. Take the house, take the clothes, take the car, take the bank account, and start over. Now, I think the Robinsons knew what was going on with the planet because they were government workers. But Dr. Smith didn't know what was going on with the planet.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of going, somebody just walked up and gave me the entire estate of like old Hollywood royalty. So if someone came up and said, Solar, or if Jack Nicholson came up to me and was like, Solar, I'm leaving the planet, you can have all my stuff and my bank account and my house, I would take it all except for Roman Polanski's phone number, and I'd say thanks. That's what I would do.
You wouldn't want to like knock him out and steal his space Winnebago instead?
No! No! And don't get me wrong. I've been wanting to get off this planet since I was 4 years old. I don't like it here. However, as much as I don't like it here, if somebody who I didn't like as a person gave me all their stuff and said, I'm going away because everybody on the planet that's just like me has decided to go away, that's a reason for me to stay.
Yeah.
Because everybody I hate's leaving, and they left me their stuff.
Yeah, it would have been a little nicer if they had established a more emotionally accessible reason as to why she was stealing her sister's position. I mean, they didn't really, because when you see the sisters, she's living in this gorgeous environment. Obviously, the Earth is not as screwed up as you thought.
Right.
So things seem to be getting better. So you aren't fleeing a dying planet. And she didn't establish like, oh, I have to leave because if I don't leave, I'm going to jail for life for my other crimes, because that might have been implied, but they didn't really say it. And again, I really can't connect emotionally to that. So I was just kind of confused of like, why are you doing this harebrained scheme when, like you said, you have the lotto ticket.
Yeah.
Like, do nothing and you win.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is that she kind of did it because of more emotional reasons, as in, well, I want to beat you. I want to, because this is the thing you've always wanted and you've always like belittled me. So I'm going to take away the one thing you want, like, because to one up you. And even then it's like, well, great. That's fine until the next ship, even if it's, radio, the ship will beat radio because it uses jump technology.
Right.
But they establish the ship goes back and forth. Like it's like a 1-year trip or whatever. But so in a year, when the next ship shows up, they're going to have your very angry sister on board going, yes, that's her, officer.
No, I get exactly what you're saying on that. Because seriously, dude, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just so damn simple. Maybe it's because I've been around people that were criminals at one point. So when I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, you're not thinking very clearly. Maybe it's because you hit the crazy button and all that stuff. But seriously, I look at a lot of these schemes, and I guess this is where the middle age comes out. When it comes to the writing of a lot of things, I look at the schemes, I look at the plots, and I think one thing, the one question that I think every writer should ask themselves while they're writing. And you know what that question is?
What?
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do this? Like, why? Seriously. Like, you want a fresh start? Here's one. Well, I want her life. She just gave you her life on Earth. But I want the one in space. Why? Like you want Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall actually said it amazingly in Godfather 2, where he's like, Michael, you won. Okay, you won. I mean that's it. You've got everybody's done. You've got all your enemies. You've done. That's it. Everybody's gone. You don't have to kill everybody. And he's like, I don't want to kill everybody. Just my enemies. You have none. They're all dead. They're all gone. Or in this case, they're all leaving the planet.
Yeah.
All the money that you've been scheming and plotting and planning about they're all leaving. The entire reason, or the people reason, that your life has been hell is all leaving. Now, maybe it's because deep down in places she don't talk about at parties, she realized she has to stay on Earth with self.
Yeah.
But
they didn't establish that. I mean, I can think of many reasons why she made that choice, but they didn't establish it in the flashback. There's one other thing that I really want to touch on this episode, because it's actually quite critical to the series. The gun.
Yes. And of course you want to do about the gun. The gun got built.
Yeah. So ship crashes on the alien planet. Dad, who's a soldier, first thing that he does when they get the spaceship out of the ice, he runs down to the cargo bay, fires up the 3D printer, pulls the little flash drive that he has with him, pops it in the 3D printer, and says, "Print me a gun." And the 3D printer goes, "I'm sorry, but we don't allow weapons on our perfect gated community. You will need the captain's security override to print this, i.e. the wife's password." And he's like, damn. So then he goes, later on, we don't know where, we don't know how, the robot has the gun, gives the gun to Will, and he's like, "Why are you giving me the gun?" The robot grabs the gun and points it at itself and basically is telling Will, "I'm dangerous to you. This gun is so you can kill me in case I go out of control, because my one purpose is to protect you, even from myself." It's a very poignant moment. Shows that the robot is weirdly self-aware, way more so than Dr. Smith. And, also, where did the gun from? Did Dad hack the system? Who knows? And then there's a conversation about, I see the 3D printer printed something. And the wife and the dad have the conversation about, well, who printed the gun? And what happened to the gun? And, how did someone hack the system? We're trying to figure out, was it the robot? Was it the older sister who's the computer whiz? Was it Dad? It wasn't Dad, because Dad tried and failed, and it wasn't Mom.
Right.
So it had to be someone, and maybe it was Dr. Smith. We don't know. And but that'll come up later on in the series a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in your perfect gated community, in your space Winnebago, we don't allow guns.
Well, we don't allow weapons.
We don't allow weapons.
Yeah, so we're now on this planet
that's trying to kill us.
And we might get a sharpened stick. That'll help against the gas weasels.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm fighting gas weasels. That was the other thing that annoyed me is the wife says, "Oh, well, we don't allow guns." And I'm like, we're fighting gas weasels on an ice planet. Please print the damn gun. Do I have to ask again? Here.
Yes.
You go fight the weasels with salad tongs.
Yeah. I mean that's that right there are some of the plot holes. But all in all, I'm enjoying Lost in Space at this point in the season. Little more than I'm enjoying Luke Cage at this point in the season. So does the Space Family Robinson measure up to the stand up to the toughest black man in all Harlem? I'm not going to give my opinions because I want your opinions. And if you want to give us your opinions, all you have to do is hit us up at backinthedeck@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on YouTube, as you know, YouTube/BidP. Thank you guys for showing up, especially you guys that are left there in the chat. Bring some friends next time, and honestly have a whole bunch of that stuff, and who knows, maybe Mr. Hemmendinger might actually get to see the white Luke Cage confirmed, since that is a request. You can hit us up on the Twitter at Back in the Deck, or join the Facebook group Deckers on the Book. That is where I've been letting a lot of people know that there have been live streams and stuff like that, asking questions, showing our incentives and all that stuff. Now, if you're a lot like me, you think they're like me, man? Well, thank you for dropping the punchline. If you guys are a lot like me, that means you drive everywhere all the time and don't have any time to sit up and look at our gorgeous faces. Gorgeous. Look at us. Yeah, gorgeous faces. Amazingly gorgeous faces. You know, like their gorgeous faces. And, yeah, you guys don't have that time to listen to the gorgeous faces or look at the gorgeous faces of us on the YouTube or on the website and all that jazz. Well, that's fine, because you can go onto the SoundCloud and you can download every single one of our shows and our archives for absolutely free. That means you can listen to us in the car, you can listen to us while you're doing your chores, you can listen to us while you're doing your job, because let's face it, most of us listen to podcasts while we work when our bosses ain't looking. But you guys can have that for free at SoundCloud/BidP. That's BID_P. That's right, underscore on SoundCloud, no underscore on YouTube. And hit us up on Instagram at Back in the Deck. Now, for those of you guys that are watching this post-production, that's cool. Leave a comment, start a conversation, and one of you guys will be randomly selected to get a Back in the Deck keychain. A lot of people have them. I use quite a few of them on my motorcycles and the various cars. But you guys end up with a keychain, and that puts you in the drawing for our other incentives, which I really dig on that. What do you think about it, Mr. Henchman?
I think it's awesome. You guys should comment, get a keychain, get some of our cool prizes.
That's right, because we are going to be working on a merch store eventually that you'll hear about in every episode, so get used to it, because this is a business, although I am building a community. I'm trying to do both, but if I have a day job, I can't be here for you guys in the way that I want to, and in the way that you guys are demanding that I'm there. So leave a comment, leave like responses and questions, and give us ideas for things that you might want us to cover on any of the shows. As I said, we're going to be doing this 3 to 5 days a week, depending on how much coffee my stock in Folgers actually gives me. So with that, I'm going to say, if you guys have been told by anybody in the world that you can't like what you like or do what you do because of the color of your skin, that means you, white Luke Cage. You can't like what you like or do what you do or wear what you wear because of the circumstances of your birth, your sexual orientation, whether or not you can walk, or your religion, creed, or whatever. You just tell them, like I tell them, to take those cards and put them back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, your cinematic sorcerer, along with
License to Hench.
And we are telling you guys, we will see you next time on Bust a Recap.
Night, everybody.